Hi, it's Sophie. I'm at 2000 Trees with Stephen. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I've just got into the swing. I forgot how to do press days.
You're quite good at these things.
Well, thank you. I think I warmed into it as I've been going around. So you're my last one before I play. So you got a lot to. You got to get me ready.
No pressure. So you're quite toasty then. You're properly warmed up.
Yeah, I really am. Yeah, we've chatted about so many. Prawn farming was a big topic at one point.
Trust you to get onto prawn farming.
No, it was bad. But, it was a bad chat as well. I heard something about prawn farming off a friend of mine, and I'll never have a prawn again.
Can you tell me, or is it going to ruin my life?
I wouldn't. Do you like prawns?
No.
I'll tell you after the interview because I don't want to say some of the words. It's really bad.
Sounds dark.
It's really dark. I mean, I love a prawn cocktail and I won't have one anymore, so it's that dark.
Life-changing day.
Life-changing, yeah. But no, sorry, let me get this clear. I discussed the prawn thing, but I learned about it a few weeks ago. I'm the one who brought it up.
So it's your own fault, really?
Yeah, it's my own fault. I brought it.
Spreading the doom.
I brought it into the 2000 Trees arena, yeah.
Ruining everyone's day.
I know, and I've basically not spoke about the music.
Do you want to say what you need to say? Get it done now, and then we can just chat like normal.
Yeah, what have I? I've got a record out that came out in December. I've got another EP that came out last week. I've just written an EP that's going to come out in about a month, and I'm going to make another record at the end of the year.
Prolific as always.
Yeah, it's really good. Without, because I've got my own label now, I can release stuff as soon as I can physically. You know, the period after recording to get it to Spotify, etc., and I can literally do it like that. So that's my preferred way.
Yeah.
It is. Lost Alone always had a very big wait after the recording of an album to the actual release, due to various different things that would happen in our lives, business things. But now I'm in charge of it all. I can just go, oh, it's finished. It's happening.
I wanted to talk to you about that because this interview is actually part of my Mind Matters series that I've been doing. So I want to delve a bit deeper into your mind. So I want to talk about how it is now you're basically on your own. Because I know you were always like the songwriter and kind of the figurehead of the band, but do you ever miss having those people to vent to or rant to when things are going a little bit bad?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Kind of and kind of not. I was always very much, and there's no disregard to the band, I mean, one of whom is here with me today, come and support me, which is great. But no, I always took it upon myself, as well as the songwriting, to kind of do everything as well. I was very much in charge of the business side with our management, and so I've always done that. The thing that's different is that this is really clear. It's mainly the internal. After I write a song and I record it, I don't really get to chat about it to anybody. I moved on to the next one, whereas especially Alan would be so much a fan. Alan in the band was such a fan of the songs. That's why he was in the band. He loved it, and he'd really talk them through me, and it'd be great. And I really don't have that anymore. Yeah. The first reactions I tend to get are when people review it. You know what I mean? And I do miss. I was at my friend's show in Berlin the other night, and this is a big turning point for me. I wasn't really up for touring up until just gone Monday. I like doing things like this, but I really wanted to just write more and get more stuff out. But I was at my friend's gig on Monday, and it was the after show hang that made me realise how much I missed that bubble of being in touring, and I do miss that from Alan and Mark and the crew, and being part of so today's almost a bit like torture because I've got to dip into it, and then I'm going off to Spain to write songs. Like I wish this was the start of a year of this, because I really, as you know, I like this, like chatting, seeing friends, and doing stuff. So yeah, I don't know if I answered the question, but
it worked anyway.
Yeah, I said something.
Yeah, I know. Like you said, you've been to Berlin and you're off to Spain. Why do you go away to write? What's that about?
Because I write all my songs without instruments, and I write them walking around. And there's only so many times you can walk around where you live. I exercised all the creativity of where I live when I was 12. Yeah. So now, and also, I suppose another big factor is I spent the last 8 years where you got back from somewhere and you were heading off on tour again, and that hit me hard after the last Lost Alone shows, that I was now just nowhere to go. So it's almost like, because I chose not to tour so much, I kind of tour on my own, playing no gigs. I just go places and I'm on tour, I'm living the dream.
Why do you think you find it hard to just sit and be in?
I find it hard to just sit here now, rocking back and forth. So
because you have too much time with your thoughts?
Yes, and based on the kind of, like you said about what this is, never been somebody that's like said I've got mental health problems or anything. I wrote a song called Mental Health on the last Lost Alone album, a song on my EP called Breathe, which is dark. But there's a song I just wrote which is My Therapy is Fear. And like I've always been somebody that I feel like I do have those issues, anxiety massively and depression massively, but I've never I spend so much time on my own. I talk to myself and give myself the thing that you'd have if you went to somebody. And I think you should go to people, definitely. But I think I've got to a point where, because I spend 90% of my life on my own, I think I've got a good little routine where it's not good, it's rubbish, as in it's not a nice time. But I think, and you probably understand this, and loads of people, I can have days where I'm the most up and happy and excited, and in the same day have the most down, and it's literally, for me, can be like that. And I think creative people, that's what I've decided. I know it's not exclusively to creative people, but I don't think I know a creative person that doesn't have major kind of depression or anxiety stuff, because you're always at a heightened sense of like wanting to make sure it's perfect, or you know, I can write a song and be so happy, and then the second it's done I'm super depressed because why haven't I got another song? Yeah. Where is it? And then it comes and I'm like, yes, and then it goes, I'm like, oh my god, I need to do it. That's my life.
And you've got the constant fear when you put the work out there for people to judge, if they don't understand it or they think
I don't have that fear.
I don't have that. That's so nice to not have that. I've said this for ages.
When bands say we're doing this for our fans, I'm not. And that might sound, to start with, like it's horrible, but the people who like my music like it because it's what I make my music for me. And they trust that what I do is what they like. I would, if you're making music for someone else, you're doing it wrong. As far as I'm concerned, you're making it for yourself, and then the people get into an artist because they get buying into their thing. And what I like about people like my music is my full-length record was like, it had a riff on it, but mostly it was like just completely different to what I'd done before. And I've made an EP that's all guitar-y, and the next thing I've made is just like completely different again. And I think what I want to have is like genre Battelle, which is kind of that people will just know it's going to be good. That's all. You know, they know it'll be good music and well written and good lyrics, and they don't know what they're going to get. It might be a big riff, or it might be orchestral, or it might be like, you know, electro. So that's my kind of thing that I'm trying to really quickly build up by releasing so much stuff, so everyone can go, oh right, he's just doing, it's whatever he does. So yeah, that's good.
Because I think as soon as you start doing it for other people, it's a business venture. It's not a creative outlet, is it?
Yep. I've seen a lot of bands, and it's in no disrespect to them, but being told, and it's obvious when they have it. I've had bands tell me they've done it and they made a mistake, but I can also, I'm finally attuned to be able to hear a record and go, they were told to do that because this song on the album before did well, so they thought they'd try and recreate it and do that song on the next one to elevate them to the next level, and in trying to do that they lost the entire spirit of what that song was, because that first song did come from a real place. Whereas I've always completely disregarded that. Absolutely. I make songs that give me the shiver down the spine, and unless I get that shiver, I'm not, it doesn't get out of my head. I have to feel that thing, and that's when, so then you know that like you can be proud to put the song out. And someone once said to me, you know, when people are saying this one's got to be the single, you should be able to be proud enough of every song on a record that track 11 could be the lead single. You should be able to say to the label or anyone, just take whichever one you want. You shouldn't be about, this is clearly the single. You should know that every song is a statement that you were happy to put out up front, you know. Yeah.
And do you still think that even when you look back at all your past records that you can 100% say every single song you still stand by that?
I was asked by Warner Brothers to write, I did all the demos for this second album and everyone was loving it, and I've always liked, because I like Queen, and they always would make albums where you'd have an epic, you'd have a lovely ballad, you'd have an absolute like vaudeville song, you'd have a heavy song. All Lost Alone albums are like that. They've got big things. I wrote a song, a demoed, and it was sent to Warner. You know, everyone was loving it. It was called Lovely Alive, and they went, "Can you just write 12 of them?" And I went, "Yeah, easily." But there's no chance I'm release an album, because that isn't what we are. And maybe I'm wrong, and that's why Lost Alone aren't headlining arenas. But they were like, "That's clearly," and they were right, because that got us our first ever Radio 1 playlist and did loads of stuff for us. But that's not the record I want to make, and I'd rather sit here now. And that's why, in answer to your question, I can sit here and say everything Lost Alone did I'm very proud of it. I might not be proud of the first album vocal sound or something because we were new and stuff, but in terms of the songs and everything, it was just exactly what we wanted to do.
Okay, so
I'm
there
completely proud.
You've not made business decisions, perhaps you've not been savvy in that sense. So is like survival in terms of finances something that stresses you out?
Massively, massively. I feel proud that what I can do right now is I write music for other people and for film and for TV stuff that pays for me to live and to make my own music. So I still stress out about money because we'd all like to have a bit more money and be able to do the things we want to do. But definitely, if I suddenly had an amount of money, I could do way more in terms of market my music how I want to and do stuff. But and the same as with Lost Alone, we had an amazing deal with Warner Brothers, and then the regime changed there and everyone left, and we ended up on a tiny label that had no money. But it's really difficult. I know bands who've made. What I think is, I don't know a band who've tried to do the savvy thing and it worked out. I don't actually know a band where, and I don't know loads of bands, but I don't know many people who have chosen to neglect the artistic thing and chose the thing that someone's telling them, and then it's worked out. They've always then very quickly had to make another record that's the one that is what they should have done.
I'm pleased to hear that in a way, because that's not the way we want to go, is it?
Of course, and that's not what the fans liked about the band. So that's my thing, and it could be wrong, but that's how I very strongly believe that. Make the music that you can't help making. Don't make the one where you sit down and go, well, this is the song it's got to sound like. It's never going to sound as good as that one. You know.
I agree.
Yeah.
I want to talk about when you are going through low periods, perhaps when you've got mental block or writer's block.
I've never had that.
Never. No, you're so busy all the time.
I get really down, but I've never had I've never had writer's block in my life. I don't believe in it.
So when you are having a low period, what usually is the cause for you? What gets you changing that mood?
The thing for me is it's the not being fulfilled. I still believe, and I've made the choice on my solo thing to do it myself, but I still feel very much like Lost Alone got screwed quite a lot in terms of business. And my thing on the band, and I still feel a bit now, but it's, I wish we'd have been, I think I might have even said this to you back in the day, Lost Alone were never given the chance to fail. We never had a wicked team, a major label or something, and a thing, and it was all go. We never got, if we'd have done that and it had been a failure, cool. But we never, and this is what everyone thinks about a band as well, like we didn't get we did loads of stuff, and so bringing that forward to now, I will still be there. Sometimes I still have that thing where people hear my songs, I send them to friends who are in bands way bigger than me, and this sounds really weird, but it just sounds really odd. They'll give me such like, dude, you are the best, you're the best, and they're things that maybe it's quite materialistic, or it's more about fulfilling myself as an artist, but I'm not at the level I want to be. I'm very ambitious, and to have people who are where I want to be fans of my band is almost like a bad of me. It almost gets me down because
frustrating.
I'm like, but and then just on a daily basis. I mean, like I said, I do have it every day. I just have the crushing thing where you literally are just, you feel like a weight is on you, and for me it's all about music and my lifestyle. And the way I've learned to kind of combat it is I can't be in silence anymore, ever. If there's any silence, that's when I start really ticking. And then the second thing is, if I do, I mean, I was never a fitness person, but I've got like a cross trainer thing, one of them, in my main place where I record. If I do 10 minutes on that, suddenly I'm in a better frame of mind. It's crazy. I really can't believe it. It doesn't work always. I mean, I've had periods where it's been 5 days of absolutely low, and I'm just like, how to get out of this? And then for me, the way I normally rescue is it's a song, it's just melody or something, and I'm like, I feel great. And then the thing that brings you straight back down is like, I've got all these songs on a hard drive, and they should definitely be out there with people singing them at a festival. And then I'm like, I'm gonna write another one. So it's kind of not being fulfilled in my career, really. And I think that's probably true for a lot of people, really. I don't know if that's me just being really, what's the word? Materialistic, or I don't know.
I don't think it's materialistic. I think it's almost the opposite of materialistic.
I just want to be successful in my thing, and not because I want money, but because I want to be doing this more and more and more. You know,
it's a passion.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, so it's good. I do think it's good how much it's talked about now. I really do. It seems to be such a, you know, some people are like, God, everyone's saying they've got it, but it's like, no, everyone's just daring to talk about it more.
Yeah,
feeling the ability to talk about it more is great. Because I don't really talk about it.
I was going to ask you, because you communicate really well in interviews, but I don't know whether when you're in those lows, you actually reach out to people and go, look, I'm struggling this week, can you help me?
Never.
What are you scared of?
No, I'm not scared. I just feel like I've got it's like that lyric I wrote the other day, my therapy is fear.
Yeah.
I just feel like I go into therapy, which is into my cupboard. Just sit there and just go, what are you doing? And I'm a big list maker. I write a lot of lists. I don't reach out ever. Never have done. And I do recommend you do. I don't think everyone can. I'm not saying no, everyone can be like me. Like I'm some kind of, but everyone's got their own way, haven't they?
Yeah.
And I feel like I do it by doing it myself. You know.
Do you ever, I think what stops me sometimes is I don't want to be a burden, and I know that so many people have issues, so I don't want to add to other people's things.
I think it's like, I think like, all depends. If you're somebody like on Twitter who feels like being able to say it there and have loads of people tell you it's going to be all right and give you advice, brilliant. Twitter's brilliant for that. If you're somebody, if you've got a friend you can call, you just got people. If you need, you know, and I don't think you should ever feel like a burden, because if they're real friends or relationship or anything, they're not going to see it as a burden. They should be with you for the all parts of you. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And friendships as well. So, yeah.
I often think to myself, I wonder how bad I would be if I didn't have my drawing or my writing. Do you ever think?
That's what I mean. Yeah, I mean, well, I'd be dead.
Yeah.
Not because I don't mean I'd take my own life. I mean, my life, I am music.
Yeah.
I don't do anything else. I'd just be some shriveled puddle. Yeah, I'd just be nothing. So, yeah, it's creativity is clearly the reason that I'm not in an institute. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely, yeah.
Let's leave it on a happy note. Let's think how we can leave this interview positive for people.
Well, I'm about to play my first solo festival.
Well, that's bloody positive.
You know what? I think I'm playing quite soon as well, actually.
Should you probably be going?
Probably. No, I thought I'm playing within this hour.
Okay, please. So, I don't want to get in trouble.
That was positive. I better go. No one's come and got me, but I should definitely go. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, it's so nice to see you.